Hi everyone! This video will tell you what are the do's and don'ts in an interview for an English or an online English teacher. It is all you need to know to nail that online English teaching interview. Now, what are the do's? What should you do in an interview? First one is you have to prepare. You must be well prepared so that when the interviewer sees you the first time, he or she will have a good judgment that you are ready for the interview. Don't look wherever, just look straight to the camera, be confident, and never show that you are scared. So that's the first one you have to do. Now, the second one. In some cases, during the interview, you will be asked to do a demo. So if you'll be asked to do a demo, make sure your demo is tried and tested. You must already anticipate that during an interview, you could be asked for a demo. So before starting the interview, it could be a day before the interview, hours before the interview. You can practice. Just do some talking in front of the mirror or in front of the camera you have on your laptop so that you can see yourself. You can record how do you conduct classes using your camera or the camera of your laptop so that you can have a good judgment whether you can ace that demo during the interview or not. So that's the second do's that you have to take. Next, you have to look professional. You should dress professionally and look presentable. Believe me, interviewers will find faults on you. So, for that not to happen, when they first see you, they can have a good judgment that you are presentable, you fit for the job, and you can be an online English teacher because you look presentable, you look professional, and you look like a higher regard one. Alright, so you should remember that. You should also go above and beyond. So whenever you're being asked to do something, never settle for less. As example, you were being asked to do a demo. You can use props, any props that you have. In my case, I've used toys, soft toys. During the demo, I have some puppets, I have some visual aids, I have some letters, some colors, so that I can put it into my demo. You should utilize what you have. You should do a lot of TPRs. You should move a lot. You should have hand gestures so that the interviewer can see that you are capable of teaching online because teaching online requires a lot of TPRs, requires a lot of hand gestures and facial expressions so that you can catch the attention of the student. Next thing that you should remember is read the instructions for your interview very carefully. Usually they send an email or they will message you on Skype about a certain instruction. So oftentimes it seems to be a pre-interview. So if you have followed the instructions very well, then the interviewer can tell that you are capable of being an English online teacher because in teaching online you have to follow all the instructions because abiding to it will put you in a better place. Aside from that, you should also know your tech specs. What are the specifications of your equipment? What kind of computer do you have? How fast does your computer work? What is your LAN speed? What is your ISP or internet service provider? You should know that because usually they ask that. You should know your equipment. Next, please power off your phones. We don't want that our phones will ring during an interview. I should not explain this anymore because easily you can tell that phones are not allowed during an interview, even if it's online or an offline interview. Also, when you will be having an interview, please find a quiet room that is conducive for the interview. And you should also have a proper lighting, framing for your interview. Make sure that your face is clearly seen. You have a clean background. So usually the background is white. We don't want some clutter around our working area because interviewers don't like that. And if they see that you don't have a good lighting, you don't have a good background, then maybe they will stop the interview right away and you won't get hired. And we don't want that to happen. Also, please troubleshoot in advance to make sure that your equipment is all working. We don't want to cram during the interview because your phone suddenly got stuck, your laptop got crashed, so we don't want that. Please do troubleshooting ahead of time. Also, use a proper headphone and a microphone. Use a noise canceling headset, a microphone with noise cancellation. You should be tech savvy when you are teaching online. That's what it takes. One of the things that you should consider before applying online is that you are tech savvy. Beginners in the usage of technology will find it hard to be an online English teacher because the instructions, the troubleshooting is also a part of teaching English online. So during a class, suddenly something pops up, and then you do not know what to do because you are not tech savvy. And if that happens, you will be given penalty. Nobody wants that. Also, please use visuals, hand gestures, and TPR methods in your demo if you'll be asked to do a demo. And please beware of backward whiteboards. Sometimes teachers, when doing a demo, uses a whiteboard. So when they use a whiteboard, suddenly the whiteboard covers their faces, or else the whiteboard is too big. It doesn't fit to the frame of the camera. So the interviewer will get distracted, and that could be one of the reasons why they will not hire you because you don't know how to project to your camera. And also, please show that you care during your interview as well as your demo. They want some they want passionate teachers here in teaching English online. It should also show that you love teaching. You love kids. You love your students, whether they are kids, whether they are teens, adults, or retirees. Because, people always admire those people who cares for them. And we should be one of those for us to be hired. So those are the simple do's that you have to remember in acing your interview slash demo, if there's a demo though. And during an interview, please do not use your smartphone. Do not hold the camera, being your chin above it, because it's distracting. Don't drive a car while having your interview. That's a big no-no. And please, if you have kids, please put them away from you. Bring them somewhere else while having your interview. If you have barking dogs, I suggest you should not do the interview if that's the case because that's a big possibility that you won't get hired. Interviewers first look at your background, if there's background noise, if you have a good backdrop, because Students are easily distracted by simple noises. Alright? And also, do not make call from under the bed covers. Do not make calls while you're sleeping or lying on bed. That's a big no-no. And also, don't blame the interviewer if you're having technical issues. Just request a reschedule. It's not their fault, it's not your fault. Sometimes we do encounter that. Even us online English teachers always encounters that. All right? And finally, I will tell you some interview questions you can expect for teaching English online jobs. So I have here introductory questions. First things first, on my case, I was asked, can you introduce yourself? So just introduce yourself. What's your name? How old are you? Where are you from? Those basics. Your education, what other jobs do you have, and the likes. What's your work experience? Why should we hire you? Those are the things that are being asked. Do you work for any other online teaching companies right now? So if they're asking this, and if you said, yes, I'm working to another company, there's a big possibility that they will not hire you, especially if the nationality of those companies are the same as to the one that you are applying. So if the company that you're working with caters Chinese students, and then you will be applying for a company that caters Chinese students as well, then you won't get hired. All right. Also, if you're being asked where did you gain your English proficiency level, you just explain that. Beware also in answering introductory questions. Because, example, you tell them that this is your educational background, blah, 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 and then on your resume, it's not stated there. It's different. So, that's a big no no. And when you are teaching demos, they have some follow up questions like, how do you think you did? What would you do to improve your teaching demo? Just be honest. Just be honest in answering these questions. All right. And sometimes they would ask about your education. What degree do you have? Recent education. Do you have a TEFL or TESOL certificate? And the likes. And for the company-based questions, how did you hear about our company? Why do you want to work there? How how did you head about the job? Why do you think you'd be a good choice for this position? So those are the common questions. Another thing they would also ask, what do you think about teaching online? Do you have any questions about teaching online? How would you deal with a difficult student? This was asked to me when I did my interview for iTutor Group. So this is a cue to you, so you can search online for the answer. And if you're well versed in teaching, then answer automatically. Do not buckle. All right. Can you handle teaching both children and adults? Are you willing to attend trainings and the likes? Those are the questions that they could possibly ask you. And then they have some general teaching experience question. Why do you want to be an English teacher? What's your teaching experience? What is the most important thing a teacher must do? What is your greatest strength as a teacher? What is your greatest weakness? So those. Just remember those and just relax in answering. For sure, you can ace that interview. As well as, oh, before I forget, they would also ask about your availability. What time would you prefer to work? So research first about the company before applying so that when you are being asked, you would be confident enough to answer their questions and don't hold back. Just tell them the truth, and if it's for you, it's for you. So that would be all for the do's and don'ts during an interview or demo. All right, so thank you for listening. Bye.